Welcome back to Addicted to Recovery, the podcast bringing you the truth about addiction. I am joined as ever by my dear friend, co-host and fellow recovering addict, Max Thomas. How are you, mate?
Chrissy White, yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
Really good. Got a special guest in the studio
We
today,
have
brother.
indeed. Yeah, we have got Danniella Westbrook in the studio.
Hello, how are you? Hello,
yeah,
everyone.
We're good.
Thanks for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Do you know what? I think it's a huge privilege for me, for you guys to ask me to be here. I was saying to my son today, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing something for recovery. I'm only like nearly 7 months down in again. And thanks. And someone's asked me to do something for. I said, can you believe I'm doing this, Kai? He said, Mum, I'm proud of you doing it. I'm proud of that you're sober and you're doing it and you're not just fucking out there. Sorry to swear. Sorry, people, I do swear.
You say whatever you want.
I'm only human. He said, I'm proud that you're doing something, you're doing it for the right reasons. And I said, be in a service and do it because, it's a big book inside out, poor kids thrown off with it.
Yeah.
He said, I'm really proud of you. He said, do you feel good about it? I said, I feel so happy that people will take me seriously again and accept me. And that is the thing about people don't understand about how special the rooms are.
Oh, it's massive.
It's just the most special. I think it's what we've missed all our life as addicts, that thing we were searching for.
Yeah.
Was that little bit of being part of something, feeling part of, being
Not
enough,
not
being
being
enough,
judged.
not being judged.
Yeah.
And you walk in that room and it doesn't matter what a crump, you can walk in there, with sit down, sit down in that chair and we've all done what you've done. No one's going to say anything any different to what you've done, worse, different, better. It's not point scoring. Do you know what? You're welcome, you're loved, and people want to see you do well. And I think we lack that one way or another, if it's just us mentally growing up. That lacks it in our mind because all of our families love us.
Yeah.
But we all feel that some sort of way.
Well, you know what I've always said, yeah? I could be in a room full of people that love me and that I loved and feel completely on my own.
Yeah.
And it was like, where does that come from? I now know after doing a bit of work on myself, that's the disease of addiction.
Yeah.
It wants me feeling separated and isolated.
Misery loves a friend.
There you go. Yeah.
No more so than inside your own head.
Yeah, it's a dark place to be if you ain't got a program.
Yeah, it is. And I think for me, I like being inside myself because I've done a lot of my inner child work and it's always going to be ongoing. The only thing that doesn't change in life, everything is forever changing. The only thing that is constant is change.
Yeah.
Time doesn't wait for anybody. People don't stay the same. Relationships, everything is evolving all the time. The only thing that doesn't change is change.
Yeah, amazing.
And you have to change to be part of something. So for me, I was out there all the time because I hated being on my own, hated sitting with myself, hated that voice in my head because that was my addict talking
Disease.
to me. Yeah. And it is the disease. And now I look at it and I find the disease comes out in so many other ways.
Yeah.
And which we was talking about before we started this was the, famous NA Green and Gold book, workbook.
Yeah.
And I was at my mum's a couple of weekends. I was there this weekend, but I'm there most weekends actually for dinner.
Right.
With my brother and the kids. It's lovely being part of a family again, Being present is great.
We get that back again, don't we?
To be present is wonderful, isn't it? And liked. We was always liked. We just didn't feel liked. And my mum they're moving house. So she's pulled out the Green and Gold book from when I first got well in Arizona 22 years ago, nearly 23 years ago.
Wow.
So I took it home with me and I was looking, my mum said, I didn't know this. I said, Mum, that was 22 years ago, when I was broken on my knees dying, weeks to live. At that point, I said, I showed her this weekend when I went over, I said, there's my new book. She compared that to that. I said, I'm not going to blow your mind with it because it's hard for people that aren't addicts to understand
Of course it is.
the mental capacity of where we can go in our own mind at times.
Yeah.
I said, what do you think? She felt I was more fucked up then than now. I was laughing. I said, how different is my step one there to my step one here? Not just even about the journey with drugs.
No.
Just about how I see myself.
Yeah, totally.
How I see other people's reactions and receptions to me. It's all in here.
Yeah, totally. No, I can
and
totally
the more
relate
cleaner
to that.
you get and the more recovery you get and the program you get, the meetings you get are just paramount. You have to have a good home group.
Of course you do.
You have to have a good sponsor. You have to have a good home group. And, and there is no excuse. That's what I love about it is it doesn't matter. You can be on a 12-hour flight and there'll be somebody on there that's in recovery.
Oh, of course they will.
And there's always
I
someone.
think what's getting good about these days, right? I think a lot of the stigma has been removed.
Hugely.
It was so much taboo about what you go to meetings, you're an alcoholic, you're an addict.
Yeah.
Now,
it's almost like a bit like to be laughed at. It's like you're under.
Of course, there's so much more mental health awareness and it's almost becoming cool to be clean and sober and self-care and eating right.
Of course.
And drinking 4 litres of water a day. It's almost becoming cool.
Yeah,
Well, it's cool to look after yourself and sharing how you feel, especially for men, I think, as well, isn't it?
Sharing how you actually feel, because so many blokes, like I did a little video today on Instagram, and it was like the biggest killer of males and females under the age of 30 is suicide, and the biggest killer of men under 50 is suicide. And that just blew me away. It's just like,
because they don't speak.
They don't speak about how they really feel. And I think this is the whole, we spoke to you earlier, the whole concept of this podcast is to get people talking and get people understanding about addiction.
And I think also as well, it's like my son's friend done this podcast, actually, Sonny.
Yeah.
He come and done it.
Brilliant.
And he's so young to be in recovery. It blows my mind. It's just so great, because Kai's obviously not an addict, because he's seen me grown up with me, so he's not like that. He's just so young. And like my friend Alistair, who lost his mum last year, he's 21, nearly 2 years clean.
Yeah.
He's just so driven with it now, because he just doesn't want to be that way. It's just so many things. I said, what made you get into recovery? How did you find out about it? He said, I heard someone's talking on a podcast about recovery. Just sat there, he said, and I thought, I've got a few issues to talk to other people, but just generally how people are. He said, I looked into it. And I went to meetings and I felt part of something that I was missing something. It didn't quite fit in. He's a very intelligent guy. He said, and I just felt okay. Because at school, you always want to be the cool gang or the,
Of course you do.
That's where it comes from.
You don't talk about your feelings, do you?
Yeah, and especially for guys. And that's the great thing about recovery. There's a lot of just women's groups, a lot of just men's groups, candlelit groups, family groups, bring your dog along. There's no excuse to not do a meeting.
Of course there isn't.
Look, any time of day or night.
Let's go back a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, and get a little bit of it. Obviously, we don't want to get too much of your background, as in like your life story.
Yeah.
All we really care about is you and your addiction, right?
Yeah.
And we'd like to know sort of a bit about the early days. When did you first start using? When did you first start trying to put substances in you to change the way you felt?
I was abused from 9 years old in the industry.
Okay.
I'm a chief witness for Operation.
Sorry to hear that.
No,
Something similar happened to me when I was
It happens
younger.
to a lot of people. There's a lot of my friends I went to school with aren't here today. And a lot of us are, and actually in recovery, funny enough. And we were given cocaine, obviously pub grub bash stuff. Like rap, makes you not be able to talk and all that stuff, to keep us quiet.
Right, okay.
So that was the first substance I ever had.
At 9?
I was about 11 by that time.
Yeah.
When they started giving me that, because they tried to give you alcohol, but they used to give you sedatives. It was a lot of working in theatre a lot, actually. And I didn't know anything was. I was 9, just playing with Barbies, just going on doing my shows.
Oh, this is it. You're too young to know what's going on.
Of course, but then I look at today, how it's changed today, evolved today. Is that I see so many people when I've been using over the years, when I go around someone's house to get bits or whatever I used to do, like dealers or whatever, and their kids would be there and they're chopping up bits on the same side that they're putting their baby's bottle on. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I just didn't grow up in a house like that.
No, I mean,
I know it's always been there, and I was very lucky I didn't grow up in a house like that, but it's there, isn't it? And I think if you don't know what you're doing, it's one of them things you just don't talk about, like the abuse, you just don't talk about.
No.
In fact, I'm just writing my 3rd book, and on my first page, I've written on there, can you keep a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Have you ever been told a secret that has eaten you up inside when you was a child?
Right.
That now at 50 years old, you think, you know what, I can tell that secret, because it isn't a secret, it was a curse.
Yeah.
Stop somebody else getting in trouble. What it did is made me live inside my own head.
Yeah, it
and
poisons
put
you.
things inside me to numb that out.
Of course.
And my life changed dramatically, my path and how I think, my mindset and everything, taking my innocence by taking drugs. By being abused and by giving drugs. Because how you think changes dramatically. Your warped feelings and, you think different. You become an addict mindset if you're an addict, if you have that threefold illness of addiction. The minute I put one in me, I'm gone.
Same.
Well, a situation like that opens up that void. And for me, that void's always been there. And I've just tried to fill it with whatever I could over the years, be it women, drugs, food is a big
Money,
one for me.
yes,
Money, success.
Fast,
and it's
of course.
and really, I spoke to you before, I've just been away on holiday. So I haven't done a meeting for 7 days, been around my beautiful family, which I lost because of addiction. But come the end of it, because I didn't do any meetings connected with my sponsor, I wasn't bringing my connections, I could feel that void in my gut. It was still there, do you know what I mean? And it's, if I left that over time, even if I'm 5 years clean, if you leave that over time, that void becomes so big, I start looking for external stuff to pack it out again. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what the addict just starts creeping up and goes, got you now, you're scared, you're
Exactly.
scared,
Yeah,
you're
it
scared,
never
you're
goes.
scared,
It never goes.
That void's
Doesn't
always
go.
there.
It's always there.
It's always
See,
there.
for me, I'll go abroad and I'll stay there for 3 months.
Yeah.
or I'll go, I feel it with other, because I'll do stuff. My kids are growing up and moved out. I'm always abroad, always doing stuff. I have to be very mindful.
Yeah.
This is my return ticket. I'm on holiday. I'm not here just hiding and running away.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because I'm a runner.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will run, because I've always been treated from a young child, because of being abused and being in this industry and then being famous at 15 to British public when there was only 4 channels on the telly. It was huge.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in front of the nation. You know, my story is known by everybody because I grew up in front of the nation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But it's what saved my life. But because of that, I've been treated very special and different. I had my makeup done from 10 years old, sat in a chair, then you could just get a card and treated different. So I would just take that and abuse it because I'm an addict.
To pre the fame,
you just take whatever opportunity you've got. If you earn a lot of money or you're doing cash work, you're going to nick a bit. If you've got an addict, you're an addict. There'll always be a way around.
You will
We'll always
manipulate
find
the
a little bit
situation.
one way.
Yeah, of course.
Like you said, you fill it with money, success, this. We all do different things.
Yeah.
And it's just, really, it all starts inside. But you've got to be very mindful it is a disease.
Pre the fame at school, did you feel different? Did you feel uncomfortable in your own skin?
In my junior
you
school.
were?
Yeah. By my second cousin, because I did modelling, I was on TV.
Right.
And my mum was a Playboy bunny girl in the West End. She used to croupier and a waitress for like The Who, and stuff like that. So I did a video very early on for Queen, Roger Daltrey and people, because they used to be serve them. They wanted a kid for their video. My mum saw my daughter. She was proud of me.
Your first job?
Yeah, early 70s. She was proud of me, you know, stuff like that. And never in a million years would she have dreamed that somebody would touch, abuse me or touch me. But back then we had to do everything with chaperones. And chaperones weren't allowed only to a certain point. And then the production people take you in and you do whatever. So you was hidden away. In fact, I just watched a really, really funny thing the other day with Shirley Temple.
Right.
Where she went up for a meeting with studios and they took her mum into one room for the meeting and her into another. When she walked into the other room, this head producer was stark naked.
Jesus.
He said, all I did, I was like 11 years old, I just laughed and laughed and laughed. She told me to get out, get out, get out. She said, my mum and I, it's on Instagram. We walked back, it's an interview from like 10 years ago. She said, we walked back to the car, hand in hand, didn't say a word. She said, I got in the car and I said to my mum, you're never going to guess what's happened to me. Now, this is a child star. So she told her mum, and her mum said, well, you're never going to guess what's happened to me. The guy in the other room wasn't naked, but he come on to me to give you a contract. She went, well, I don't think we're working for Paramount. And that was the joke of it. She said, we're very lucky that she could just openly tell her mum.
Wow.
Yeah, well, look, something similar happened to me when I was a kid, right? And like you said about The Secret, right? That's what I took from it. It was like, don't say nothing. And I didn't say anything. And it just become this closed off. I didn't tell anyone about anything. It was like I just became this closed book and you couldn't get in because of that one situation. It was once.
But then you're playing a part
Changed my
all the
whole
time,
thinking.
trying to pretend to be normal in front of your family, because I was always told trust a policeman. Not that a policeman didn't abuse me, but I was brought up normally with respect for adults to tell my parents things. I would always tell my parents. I'd never seen my parents naked growing up and stuff, like my dad in the news or anything. I mean, I was a little girl. So to see what I saw and to enjoy what I enjoyed was like horrific. So when they said don't tell anyone because you're getting a lot of trouble and your parents are paying a lot of money for you to go to, to do this and blah, 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 and you want to be famous and, you want to be stuff like, actually, I don't really want it if this is what it's involved. I want to do this, And I thought, well, I can't tell my mum, she'd be mortified. I was like 9.
Yeah.
How do you tell your mum something, and especially not my dad.
So do you think that was like the seed that got planted, that you started looking for things to change the way you felt?
To keep me quiet, to numb me, because we did get more vocals, we got older, got a bit more flash and, 30, 40.
And how did your using progress from there?
It was the first thing I ever did. I think you always go with what your first thing was.
Yeah.
Some people it's gambling, some people it's sex, some people it's drink, some people it's drugs, some people it's whatever. Whatever it is, it's whatever it is. But I know that I'm an addict of an addict. I'm an addict to the worst, the highest order. If I'm at the gym, I'm in the gym. If I'm shopping, I'm shopping. If I'm eating chocolate, I'm eating chocolate.
Yeah, I can relate.
And like Sharon Osbourne was very good friends of mine for a long time, and so I just didn't get you guys. she said, until Ozzy, she said, Ozzy will smoke Marlboro Lights for a whole 6 months, then won't touch them, and he'll be in scars. And then it's summer, he'll drink herbal teas, and it's something else, and he'll hide his Marlboro Lights in the oven, and this and that. So I just don't get you. He said, because we go through them phases, and then I'll never touch another packet of Cadbury's buttons again, because I'm on to something else now. People look at me and go, you're a crank.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I am a crank. But as a child, I did things to carry on being normal. Everyone else goes, like now, everyone else goes to the gym. So I try and do it normally, but I can only do it in excess.
Yeah. Well, if you're an addict, you're an addict. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you've got boundaries. and you find a balance.
Got a program.
Yeah, we talk about structure all the time, Chrissy, don't we? Structure is key for me in any element of my life, be it food, gym, work. I need structure, otherwise, sleep.
Do you find it sometimes, though, you can get too, now being 5 years, and I'm trying to go back to when I was 14 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm only still 7 months now, but I'm looking at things that really I took for granted in 14 years that I don't want to take for granted this time, because I think it helped lead to the cracks that eventually would have gone, whether it be 6 months, 6 weeks, or 6 years later, which it was for me using. Sometimes my structure becomes too comfortable. I'd have to change it a little bit and become a bit more disciplined with certain things. Like you said, that holiday. Now, you know, next time you go away for a week, just to say, I'm just going to spring response for 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, you're
Take
so
10 minutes out.
Yeah,
like,
jump
just
on an
change
online
that a
meeting.
little bit, because you've got to be on top of that addict.
Totally. Yeah, because come the end of the holiday, I was cranky with the kids. Do you know what I mean? At the airport, I was rude to my missus, and I was so good the whole week, really. But I could just feel it was just on me. I needed a meeting,
Felt like
basically.
you're doing something wrong, that's why.
Yeah, I needed a meeting as well, Danny.
You're
Do you know what I
scared.
mean?
You're
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to feel them feelings. Does that mean I'm going to use? Like the amount of conversations we have with ourselves, and I don't care who you are, you do it.
Well, I think this whole thing's fear-based.
Hugely.
So
It's where mine started.
100%. I was like a scared little boy, and I found a way of not being so scared. When I put that substance in me, it settled me down a little bit, and I was running from the fear by numbing myself with a substance.
Yeah, that's what I say.
And like my drug, eventually when I found cocaine, I loved it.
It's the first thing I ever did, and the only thing I've ever done.
It was my first love. I loved it.
Well, you can't have, I always say, listen, you can't have a relationship with anybody else, not your kids, not your wife, not even yourself, when you're having a relationship with cocaine.
No.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I completely agree.
That is it. If it says to me, you're going to put that table on your back and you're going to walk down Southend High Street, you'll be doing it.
Yeah.
That rules your life.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and it just rules my life. It rules my life. If I let it today, it would rule my life.
Yeah.
And I might as well get a gun and just put it to my kids' heads and shoot them and then do myself. Because they're going to have no quality of life. They have no mother when I'm using. My daughter's still not talking to me today because of my antics using the last time.
Yeah.
Because she's scared that she's going to get close to me. And then suddenly, because after 14 years of knowing me clean and sober, that's all she knew from the day she was born, both her parents relapsed in 6 weeks when we split up.
Right.
So we split up the family, and her dad took her, and my son's with me, and in 14 years, suddenly this kid's world fell apart.
Yeah, it's big stuff.
We moved back from America, and within 6 weeks, we're both using, both drinking. She'd never seen us drink, never seen us fight like that. I mean, I was screaming, roaring off in cars, and also, you know, typical crazy Essex blonde behaviour, drug-fueled behaviour. He's effing and blinding at me. You know, not that we were the Brady Bunch before, but like her whole world fell apart. Then suddenly she's not living with her mum and her sister, and her mum and her brother. She's in Kent, we're in Essex, and the whole family's disjointed, and it's just so traumatising for everybody.
Yeah, we talk about the ripple effect, don't we?
There you go, knock-on effect.
But
It's not
still
just
now,
us.
like 8 years later, my daughter's still got that butterfly effect. She's still so fearful. She loves me, but from over there. And that's okay. Because whenever she's ready, and we talk, and but we haven't got a relationship today, but whenever she's ready, I will answer all them questions. Yeah, but when she's ready, I'll answer them questions. Step 8, making amends.
Yeah.
I've
I can see it coming back full circle.
Yeah, but it will do. In her time, not mine.
Yeah, because Dan, like from my,
But that's a mature way of
my
looking at it.
wife didn't trust me when I left the house. She didn't trust where I was going, and now it's taken a long, long time. But she trusts me implicitly now. When I leave the house, she doesn't ask where I'm going. It's like so.
Petrified, probably was petrified.
Yeah, it was. So what I'm trying to say is, time is a healer. But
If
you've
you
got to apply yourself to this program, right? Yeah.
Well, you listen. You have to lose yourself. You have to die to yourself.
Yeah.
And completely immerse yourself in the program. You know, and don't walk in the rooms and just get the first sponsor that you see. You know, just if anything, just go. If you can't do 1990, do 7 in 7. Assume it'll be 1990. That's what I always say to people.
All you got to do is a meeting a day. You ain't got to do 1990. Just do a meeting a day for 90 days.
You know, 1990, 7 in 7 comes 1990. And do you know what? We're not a bad bunch of people.
No.
And you find your people within the rooms,
people judge me so badly online, and I'm like, listen, I don't really mind that you judge me, because I know me, I know where I've been, and this, that, and the other. I can take it. But be careful when you're judging this addict so harshly, because one day one addict might be the one that's helping your child.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you were crying out for that.
It's pathetic, the trolls online.
No, because I don't care about trolls really, because we're all running from something. So I'd rather them bully me than somebody else. I don't really care. That's the whole point of a block button.
Yeah.
You know? I wish there was a block button on my addiction, but there wasn't one.
No.
And there still isn't one. And I have to be very aware of that.
Let's talk about fame a little bit, Danny, if we can. Like, so you were 9, 10, you got super famous, what, 15 you
I
said?
got famous at 15, yeah,
Yeah. So was fame then, must have been a real, for an addict, that's a real high, yeah? Did you see that as
No, not really. Do you know what? I'm looking back now, 50, it's funny, sort of hindsight. I was just listening to people say that when I was a kid and think, oh, what are you talking about? Youth wasted on the young and a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
And now I look at it and I go, wow, like people are writing on my thing under a James English interview while I was ill, just come off crack and everything else. We were talking on there and people go, look at the state of her, she's a fucking mess. And yeah, I am, because I'm a freaking junkie.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what junkies look like if they're still breathing. Like, that's who I was. That is who I was. And these are my battle scars. Yeah. Some people go to war and I haven't got an arm on leg. These are my battle scars from my own stupidity, my own illness. Right? I'm lucky to be alive. Troll me, say what you want about me, do this and about this, and I can lay my head down at night now and I actually like who I am.
Yeah.
I'm okay with who I am. I'm not the keeper of other people's secrets anymore. Doesn't mean I've got to become a gross. Just means I have to learn. I found the right people to talk to, right sponsor, right meetings, right women's group. I've got some really good peers with a lot of clean time in my life, and I've got some great male friends that aren't in recovery. They're just very well put together. That have never had drug problems. That give me great advice on life. You know, they run businesses, do whatever. They're grown-ass men, but they've known me since before.
That's what I'm trying to be.
You are.
Yeah,
You're a big guy.
That's what I'm trying to be.
Trying to be a man.
I'm trying to be a grown-ass man is what I'm trying to do.
You know, but don't try and be anything, just be you.
No, but look, this is the thing, right? For me, for my addiction and the way I've lived my life for so many years, I started using heavily at about 17. And until I got clean, I was still at that 17-year-old's head.
Still got it today, mate.
So now, 3.5 years clean, I'm about 21. You know what I mean? And I'm growing.
Listen, Kai said to me, he's like, tell me now you're not going to be for him. I went, yeah, of course I am.
There you go.
I'm going to Swank away. And he went, oh, mate, can you just
Funny enough, I'm going IB for this year. Can you just go for the
wheelchair access and just sit there with your grey rinse perms? He said, Mum, me and Jodie don't even go IB for. I said, but it's mate, I've got to go.
Yeah, I'm going IB for this year for a wedding. Well, I had Uncle Wayne on my other podcast I'm involved with. And we've actually got a day out at O Beach. And it's like my first.
Where are you going?
July.
I'll be there probably.
No, June 23rd.
I'll probably be out there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. Funny enough, I'm thinking about taking the equipment and doing another podcast.
Please do.
Maybe we'll meet you and Uncle Wayne.
I know some good people out there that'll do recovery podcasts for you.
All right. Well, I'll look into it.
Long time clean as well.
But yeah, look, it's one of them. I can go on holiday now. I can go. I've been on boys' holidays. I've got a rock solid program. It doesn't matter what. I can put myself in any situation because I'm held by the program.
Yeah.
I'm held by the rooms. I'm held by my fellows.
It took me 7 years into a 14-year recovery, and I wish I could have said what you said. And I said it took me 7 years in to being 14 years clean. Halfway through, I sat in a meeting one day, and I never used to speak in meetings, and I used to share, and I was doing it petrified. Wouldn't open my mouth because this all stems back to that secret thing. I didn't want to tell people my business.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, that's still haunting me from back there. It's keeping my ego at bay, even there with a place where everyone can help me, where I'm safe. And I remember sitting there with Nick, who runs CA, Nick the Stitch, the tailor. We was sorting our wedding out, we was doing all that stuff with one of our ushers, and doing all the suits for the wedding. We was chatting away, me and his missus, and it's just all in recovery. He said something to me, and I said, it's taken me 7 years, but I can finally say I'll never touch a drug again. I'm absolutely petrified. And do you know what I didn't have in my life? I was on the board for CA. I started the Hine Street 1 o'clock Wednesday meeting. That was me and my ex-husband and Barry Brand. We started that meeting, still running today. But 18 years ago, 19 years ago, I was so into recovery. Never once did I do the bloody steps in 14 years.
Right.
My sponsor tried to shag my husband, which obviously weren't going to happen. So that didn't go down well. So I didn't trust anybody else after that because I still had them fear-based issues. I wouldn't share.
Of course, you ain't gone through the steps.
No sponsor.
All I had was B-Chief, was my therapist, who used to nag the crap out of me, and still does today, about the steps. He's on me all the time, to the point I've now hooked him up with my sponsor so she can tell him how I'm getting on with my steps, because it's not something.
That's a smart thing to do.
Not something you talk to your therapist about. Yeah. But he's like, listen, do you know where you went wrong before? What I used to say to you, I've been with B-Chief. Elton John put me into B-Chief. Years ago, he's been living with Johnny Depp. He's done the whole court case and got him well.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, he's a really good therapist. He had a lot of trouble hearing the papers with some old crap, but I find him, for me, he's the gospel for me, because little Irish guy just understands me.
Yeah, listens, right?
Yeah, he's cool, you know. He's just a cool guy. And he's like, and he's been there. When he lived in the Isle of Man, he was banned from every pharmacy because he wasn't allowed to buy any cough medicine. He was such a bad alcoholic.
Oh, really?
Or for hand sanitizer or anything. Yeah, he's like 40 years clean.
Is he?
Yeah. He's
Wow.
worked at Promise, started Promise Treatment Centre.
Right.
I've heard of
Robert
that.
Lefevre and stuff. It's good guy, really good guy, really good. I've got him and Michelle, who I met through the Priory and PCP. She's great as well, because I think sometimes you need a woman
Yeah.
as well for certain things, for mother stuff.
Men for men,
stuff.
women for women, right?
Yeah, but he's my good therapist and she's a good therapist as well. So there's two different sides of things that I need. And I had to go look at what I needed. And I didn't ever speak in meetings.
Right.
I never, ever to this day I've done a share in 20 odd years. Never.
We've got to
a
change
sponsor
that.
back then?
Expired.
We've got to change
That is what I'm going to change. And that is a big thing for me to change, because I want to go and do platforms and speeches and wellness centres and talk to people. That's the sort of thing I want to get into from here, which I'll go on to what I see my future being.
Well, Danny, one of the main reasons we wanted to get you on here, we know that you sharing on this podcast will give so many people, so many women especially, hope to open up about if they're struggling. I guarantee it. We will get flooded with messages.
You know how many people
about
I
this.
have on my Instagram? The only reason I don't even really run it myself anymore, I'm not allowed to, because I'm just getting trolled. Like sometimes I do get down. You're only human. I go on there every day for messages for people about their daughters, their sons, their boyfriends, their mum, their dad, themselves, whatever.
Wow.
Whether it be drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. And I say to them, where are you? What area are you in? Can you get to a meeting? I'll get someone to come and meet you. Can you get there? I'll get someone to pick you up, get someone to meet you outside the meeting. And I'll ring the secretary of a meeting. I'll find someone around that area that can go and get them. A lot of people say, I live in a small village. People will know this. I said, get online. When everyone's at the house, there's a meeting 24 hours a day. I'll send you the links.
Yeah.
Get in, and it doesn't matter what your
there's
drug.
no excuse.
For me,
You can always do
no
a
matter
meeting.
what your drug of choice is, get to NA. NA covers every base. Right? It's not the Prada posse, as I call it, like the CA meeting, which I love CA, but I've done CA to death and I relapsed into CA because of my own stupidity, because I wasn't following a program and nobody would tell me what to do. Like everyone was a bit too frightened to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Like, bursting my ego, because I find it a little bit ego-based still, CA. For me personally, so I still Chelsea, London meetings, was always in town. I find NA real, raw. And do you know what? It just keeps me so grateful. Because the people are so
Welcoming.
giving of all their time.
Welcome. Look, we haven't mentioned it on the podcast because we're not trying to say that we're affiliated with that fellowship at all. And
Well, you're
we're
meant
not.
to, are you? But I just say it because so many people need to know they're
Exactly. We both go to NA, and I found my home
there. Sorry,
in
I've
NA.
just outed you guys.
I went,
you're
no,
fine.
it's- you know what I mean? It had to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been to a few different fellowships, and when I got to NA, like you just mentioned, I just felt so at home. And the fact that it's not substance specific,
No.
it focuses on the disease of addiction, which I've got,
100%.
I was born with, and I will always have. So when I look at their literature and I look at their step working guide,
So personality
it
based,
speaks
isn't it, as well?
it speaks directly to me.
Yeah.
I never had a problem with alcohol. That's why I struggled working out of the original Big Book,
Yeah, me too.
because when I was new, I needed that identification, and I didn't have it with that book.
Yeah, and I was looking for an excuse. Was go, that doesn't identify to me. That's not
Yeah.
me. I'm not like those
Exactly. I was
people. I'm
looking
not
for
like
the
you people.
differences and not the similarity.
Yeah, and I'm not like you people. I'm a class A drug user.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
so-
better than, but I'm not. I was just looking for my addicts going, you're not like that. You're not like that. Get rid of
Exactly.
these.
No, it's so welcoming.
These people in here have got no teeth. You're not like that. You do well. You drive a nice car. No, because in the end, I ended up with no teeth and I'm driving nothing.
Yeah.
You know, because that's where it took me. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just like, for me, NA, you know, and we're a very welcoming people. I mean, whatever NA meeting I've been to, whether it be in a tiny little place in Wales or a big meeting in London or New York or wherever I've been, walking in, the vibe's the same. The message is the same.
Yeah.
It's very personality based. It's non-judgmental. Doesn't matter who, what you got, what you ain't got. Doesn't matter if you put money in the pot or you don't.
No.
You know, it's just, people are there. We're there for ourselves. But in a funny way, we're getting each other well.
Yeah.
And for me, I find that, you know, I've never been alcoholic. I don't, drink wasn't my thing. I can drink, but it's not my thing. So I just choose not to. You know, I do like some AA meetings, Big Book meetings and stuff as well. I do like going to a fellowship. If there's not another meeting, I'll find one, whatever it is.
Yeah, of course. Look, I'm not putting down any other fellowship. All the fellowships save lives. I am massively
identify-
into the old school AA speakers, like we was talking
Same,
about
yeah.
before. Like your Earl Hightails, your Sandy Beaches. Like, I would highly recommend going on YouTube and looking for them old circuit speakers, because they've got such good stories.
Listen, that's what's
And it's
got
a
me-
great
that's
way
what's
to
got
get
me through
connected.
Losing my dad in January. Everything in me, so being literally 2 months clean, was like, Get out news, just get on it, don't look at it, it's dying. Me and my brother sat side by side and went through every emotion together, and his wife, for that whole month of being at the hospital. We're back really close now. And I didn't use, and like sometimes I was laying there crying, I was fucking biting. Got bite marks in my arm, thinking, I just got to get a magic phone call.
Well done.
There must be somebody. I couldn't do it. And do you know what? I now go to bed. I went to bed for that whole month. Every night, if I wasn't listening to Joyce Meyer, because I do like my Christian fellowships and stuff, that's a different thing. Whatever works for the universe, what I like.
Yeah.
You got to have something, your higher power.
Yeah.
Right? And that freaked me out when I first come into the room. What do you mean
Me
a higher
too.
power?
Yeah.
About God, religion.
Me
It's not
too.
about that. It could be anything you like.
Yeah.
Higher power could be anything.
We done an episode on step 2, and I met the
Heavy,
word
isn't
God
it?
with massive resistance.
It's heavy, but I think as long as you just get like we're talking now and get real about it, this is recovery. This is a meeting.
Exactly.
For anyone that's not been to one, this is really what it's like. You sit there, somebody tells a story, share back to them about it. You've got to share back about the story, about you using. You should say, I've had a really shit week this week, or I'm feeling great today, or something.
Exactly, and this is it.
Anything.
It's not all doom and gloom.
You can't tell your friends about them going, yeah, anyway, what time's Emmerdale on? You know, one of them ones where they're not, because they don't get it, you're just normal and you can voice something and go home. You're not sitting there bottling up all these things, you're putting them into little compartments. So for me, I used to go to bed of a night, and what got me there when I was absolutely hanging on, and I was jonesing, mate, let me tell you, all I wanted to do was use.
Yeah.
Because all I know to numb is just what I do. I don't
Coping
face things.
mechanism.
To the world, I face everything. I go on telly and I talk about this. I do it. Inside, I'm just like, I've got to use.
Yeah.
That's the only person I've got in the world no one else understands. It's never left me. It's the only thing that's been there beside me the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's not. I sat in bed, put YouTube on, put my earphones in, go to sleep listening to NA shares or CA or AA or anything to shares. And if you can't get to a meeting, drive along in your car, go out for a walk, put your headphones on, just find on YouTube, whatever you, Narcotics Anonymous, AA, whatever it is for you, even if you're not an addict, you've got a family member that's an addict, and listen to some of them people share their meetings, they tell their story. And you'll understand that we are, inside there's a person just was waiting to come out and bud and grow. We just got lost along the way with things, and that's how we found it. If you don't understand addiction or why you like this or why your husband's like it or your family member or your mum or your sister, just listen to that and it will help you understand the disease a little bit more, and you're not on your own.
Yeah, and look, you know what? That's part of the reason why we started this podcast. I've listened to basically every share that's on YouTube
But you have,
multiple times because I listen to them all day, every day. So we're trying to create a little bit more content. Like you said, put them shares in. You can put this podcast on and listen to this.
So important. And I think as this grows as well, and people, you have people come in, do big book, you can do a bit of book study and certain things and talk about that.
So
and then,
many, we've
like
got
you
so
can
many
read 3
ideas.
pages like you do in a big book meeting, and you think, what the hell's that? So I went to one. You know, I've been dragged along before when you've been in rehab, but I was so heavily medicated, I couldn't have told you. They could have been reading me the freaking, the dictionary, I wouldn't have known. But, I sat there and I thought, this is really great. So we'll sit there and read the NA big book. We talk about stuff, and there's everyone to read a little bit. You haven't got to read if you don't want, you can pass it on. So that's not another excuse not to go because you don't like reading out loud. And then you'll just sit there and you'll say, you know what, that bit out about, I identify with that. Or you don't have to talk if you don't want to. But it's giving you more information. And the more information you get, every time you relapse, it ruins your using. Because you know what it's doing to your brain. You know what it's doing to you.
You've got the knowledge.
You've got the knowledge inside you, so you
I
know.
like to say you got a head full of recovery
Head full of recovery.
and a belly full of drugs, and it's
but
just
listen,
no
that's what I
good.
did after 14 years, because I had a head full of recovery,
Yeah.
but I didn't open my mouth.
No.
I sat on a chair and I looked great, and I was healthy, and I was a great mum. I was doing things. I was a good wife. I was a good marriage.
Yeah.
But I wasn't well.
But inside.
Yeah, if you don't work your
Because
program,
I
your
still had
relapse is in the
secrets,
post.
of course. From whatever it may be that got you to being an addict. If it's in you, it's in you. It's like cancer's in all of us.
Yeah.
Addiction's in all of us. It's just different ways. Some people are OCD. We've all got something. They call it mental health these days. We've all got something, a part of a disease. It's just called being human. It's how we manage it. And we're very lucky in the fact that, there's people out there that are dying of leukemia and cancer, and the children are dying. If they could take their kid to one meeting a week, it would save them for the rest of their life. Of course they would. So why wouldn't we just go to a meeting?
Yeah, I've heard that said before. It's almost like, what do they relate it to? Diabetes. So if you've got diabetes, you take your medicine. If you're an addict, take your medicine. And the medicine is the meetings and the program.
It's other addicts. It's people there, It's not people you're going to hang out with and use with and learn about how to use better.
Yeah.
It's about using the crap. I didn't realise until I sat in a meeting in New York that they did this whole thing. This guy's talking about crack and how he lost his twin brother on crack and his heart. I was sitting there because you do realise, people, that when you're smoking a crack pipe, every time you suck on a crack pipe, your heart shrinks and never goes back to the same size, but the blood still pumps around the body at the same rate.
Right.
And eventually the heart's that small, it just explodes. Crap, I never knew that. I was
Dangerous
a crack addict, but I was like, wow, Christ, why do people want to do that?
Yeah.
And you look at me and think, why would you want to stick something up your nose when you did that?
Yeah.
Locking myself in the house, paying the fucking milkman through the letterbox, putting bin liners up at the windows when Brian was away. I was absolutely
At 21.
climbing out of windows and hiding in pajamas out of windows.
Yeah, look, that's where my using went.
Because I knew they were going to come for me. I knew. And people were going to me, you're fucking mad. People aren't going to come for you. I was like, listen, I've been abused by some really high-end people, and it's what got me on drugs. I knew it was going to happen. I knew they wanted him. So I knew it was going to happen for me. And it was...
And at this point, you're doing the EastEnders...
They got rid of me at EastEnders because I was very ill. I was fitting and I was having fits and everything, cocaine, convulsions and everything there then.
Were you using on set and stuff?
Every day. I was using a lot there.
So it progressed really quickly, didn't it?
EastEnders was so good to me. They saved my life at one point, really, because they were such a... Considering the organisation with the hierarchy, the BBC wasn't involved. My part of the BBC wasn't involved at all. They were so formal and so great and so nurturing. Yeah, I felt safe for once. And then I met Brian.
I've always heard good things about EastEnders, you know.
Yeah, EastEnders is great. It is great. And we've had some great bosses and great cast members. And now we have a mentor system. Well, they have a mentor system. And it's everyone from camera crew to makeup, everyone is great. Supporting artists. It is a great place to work. I just was off the rails.
Yeah, so using just was all over.
All I wanted to do, I didn't want to go to sleep. I was frightened to be asleep.
Right.
And
because of my nightmares. Because again, I'm keeping yet another secret.
How long was this going on for? That sort of behaviour.
Good 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I used every day I was pregnant with my son, which is awful. So probably longer than that, probably 5 or 6 years.
Right.
Until actually longer than that.
Such a painful place to be.
Because up until I met my ex-husband, who got me into treatment centre, he was the first person that really believed in me. My mum and dad didn't know what to do. There were people that took drugs or never heard of rehabs.
I can relate.
They just didn't understand me. Why is she so tortured? You've got a great job, great opportunity, throwing it all away.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
I thought it was because of Brian. I've
heard that before of you.
Yeah, I said it's not him, but I couldn't tell him the secret.
Just stop.
Yeah, just stop. Why have you got to do it? None of your mates do it. None of my mates did do it.
You just have a puff or something,
You know, why can't... And all my friends used to go to me, why can't you just go to the country club, Chigwell?
Yeah.
Get a kebab and go home like everyone else. Why have you got to go to South London?
I know.
Why have you got to go here, there and everywhere and be out to... You know, I was like Jesus at Easter. I'd go out on the Friday and come back on the Monday.
Same as
that
me.
was me.
Honestly, same as me.
Like everyone's, what are you doing for Easter? I'm going to be like Jesus, go out Friday, come back Monday. I thought it was hilarious.
I'd pop out for a few beers and come back 2 days later. That's my story, and it's just
not a penny in your pocket.
Yeah, it's just I'd normally only come back whether I've lost my whatever. I've run out of money.
Lost cards.
My wife's so on top that I just need to go back, otherwise it's just game over. It was just, but me, it was all or nothing. And put one beer inside me, I could go wherever. I could end up wherever the party stops, really.
Yeah, and also for me, I was very easily led with people. Because I've always had to people please from a child with things. When people go so and so, if they made me, and that sounds really horrible, but you know when people are bad news for you.
Yeah.
When your own mates don't want to hang around with them, and they don't get them. They just don't do that. Like everyone went out in the 90s and done pills and this and all my mates did.
Yeah.
Don't care who they are now. You know, they grow up, but they grew out of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And they all done jobs and they do things.
Down.
I didn't do that. I went with the next lot. And anyone that made me look better than they did made me feel a bit better about myself, that I felt I was a bit better than.
Yeah.
I just run with it. I went from town to city to country to country to...
Were you working, Danny, at this point? Were you on TV and stuff? What was the situation? When you were in the proper in the madness, you were?
Yeah, I was married by managed by Michael's wife, Cheryl Barrymore.
Right.
Michael's now 10 years clean, a great friend of mine who's obviously been through the same situation.
Right.
Oh, we'd love to get him on.
Oh, here, I'll give you his details.
Fantastic.
He'll come on, he's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, Michael. And,
that'd be brilliant.
And he has a similar story to me, was made famous and used as a scapegoat. The whole situation was just, and then he never got a career back. Know too much.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot of things, but drugs is a huge part of it. And drugs is a huge part for many, many things, in places that you would least expect. Parliament, courthouses, school, anywhere. It's not just kids out of a man bag and a machete selling drugs, it is more places than you'll ever imagine. And it's like...
Well, in the rooms, you've got teachers, policemen, architects, accountants,
people.
It's just, it's such a...
It's better than being a Freemason, I think.
You can always find someone, you know what I mean? But this is the thing, right? Addiction don't discriminate.
No.
Anyone can be affected by it.
Addicts discriminate until they get into recovery.
Well, yeah, look, mate, I was the most judgmental, just a horrible person,
No.
when I'm out there using.
Look at him now.
And I come in.
Little face.
I come in, right? And it's just like, I've had a complete psychic change.
180,
you actually who you were supposed to be in the first place.
Exactly, right? And that's what I always tell people. This whole program is about change. I've come in and I've changed fundamentally as a person, right? I'm exactly like you just said. I'm the person I was supposed to be.
You're the person your parents knew you should be.
Exactly, right? And this is why I'm really lucky that I've still got all my family in my life.
Yeah,
I've still got my core group of friends in my life.
And it does come back to people.
I've got my missus and my kids still in my life. And it was touch and go. I was like, last chance.
And how did you, sorry, I'm interviewing you a bit now, but how did you guys feel when you knew, like I knew, like everybody in them rooms knows, this is it, mate. I'm saying, screw you to the job. I don't care if they leave me. I don't care if I'm left on my own. I don't care if I'm sat there in my own freaking...
Yeah, I come
when
close.
you get to that point and you know that's it, did you still carry on for a bit?
Well, look, so this is what happened to me, right? For a long time, I was trying to manage, I was trying to control, I was trying to manage the amount I was using and trying to sort of hold things together. And then after a little while, like we have to surrender to the program, I fully surrendered to the drugs. And I was like, I am a daily user, get out the way, I am using no matter what. Ways and means to get more didn't matter. And I would step over my kids, I would step over my missus, I would steal from my parents, I would steal from my nan. Any way to get what I needed, I would do it. And it was only, I've mentioned this many times on this podcast so far, but when it came down to, so I used to get kicked out of my house with my missus and my boy. I've got 2 kids now, we just had another one.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Sweetie, innit?
The joys of recovery, and it's great, and
so
it's the
I would get kicked out of my house and I would go to my mum and dad's. And when they wouldn't let me in, they was like, you ain't coming in. They stopped enabling me.
How hard that is for them now.
Oh, mate, they said it was the hardest thing they've ever done because they didn't know if I was going to walk away and kill myself.
My mum was waiting for a phone call overnight.
That's what she said.
I've been every night crying.
So when I got that, when they stopped enabling me and I got that bit of wiggle room taken away, then I started taking it seriously. And that's like I was talking to you earlier when I went to treatment, and I've stayed clean since. So yeah, to answer your question, I had that moment where I was like, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
But deep down...
Till you switch back on again.
Deep down, I did care. Because when it was like, this is it, everyone's going to leave you, you're not going to have anyone anymore. I was like, I can't have it.
But then also, something in you as well knows that, well, it's going to stop eventually because I'm not going to have any funds, I'm not going to have this, no one's going to take me seriously. It's a domino effect. You've got any sense of brain, you know that.
Yeah.
And it's like, but we've all been there, and that's why I sit here and I say, even when I do things on Instagram, I talk to people, I'm like, I can't stress enough. Doesn't matter where you live, what you've got, what you haven't got. We've all done what you're doing. We've all said, oh, please, God, stop. I don't want to do it tomorrow. We've all said, I don't care anymore. I don't care if you all leave me. You're all fucking wrong. I'm not as bad as all that. I know what I'm doing. I earn the money here. I'm the one that, we all make excuses. Well,
of course it is.
So don't think you can't go to a meeting because you're that person and you hate yourself for it. Because we all do hate ourselves for it. We sit there and go, oh, what a horrible person I am when I'm like that. And then we justify it back to ourselves. Then we hate ourselves and we justify it.
Well, the last thing I ever wanted to be was an addict. You know what I mean? So I tried denying it.
I did the Grange Hill Just Say No campaign.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? And then ended up on drugs. And I'm like, I know for me, my journey, and it's taken me to 50 years old. It's taken me to lose my dad, actually, earlier this year in January to...
Sorry to hear about that.
No, I know, but to look at this, it's very hard.
And well done for staying clean through that. That's big stuff.
Yeah, but I stayed clean 14 years, didn't work a program. And luckily this time around I was working a program.
Yeah. I think that's a huge. I think that's going to go down as a huge moment.
And my dad knew that as well before he went. And for me, it's like, we all live alone, we all learn, but how lucky, there for the grace of God, go I, because I'm back in the rooms. And I've learned that I could have died. I could have had 14 years recovery, and I see it happen. We all do in meetings all the time. People go out, not come back the next week or the next 2 months or next year. They're gone. I've got that light bulb moment of having to know to open my mouth and doing it and everything else. That's a necessity. My way doesn't work. Just,
You're talking
and
the
even
right
saying
stuff.
about doing the LA black, green and gold book, looking at it back then to doing it now. And I urge everybody to get it.
You're talking like an NA member.
What you do is I urge everybody to go out and get that book and do the workbook. I don't care if you're 25 years clean or 25 minutes clean. Get it, write it down, be honest with yourself. You haven't got to show it to another living soul. Try and do it twice a year. And then every couple of years, just look back and think, fuck it, wow, I've come a long way. And my mindset changes. It also helps you to balance where your mind goes, because your mind will let you think you're okay.
Yeah, I'm going back
So
through
it's
my
good to
second
look at
round
'em.
of steps now, and my new step one
I'm doing my steps
is
again.
completely different to
That's
my
great,
3.5
isn't it?
years ago step one. I'm a different person. It's not about the drugs anymore. It's about the disease of addiction and how it manifests in my life today.
See what I didn't understand? Well, I thought I knew everything. We thought we all know it all. Of course we do, we're addicts, and how to get there. We're better than everything. And I thought, well, if I just write the same 8 rehabs later, if I just write the same life story every time, my step one, how hard can it be? I'm an actor, I can remember that. Recall's my thing.
Yeah.
And then I sat there this time and I didn't go to rehab. I just went to meetings and I just got well and I just did it. And I'm like,
Got honest.
no, do you know what I did? I just was on my knees and I thought, do you know what? I need a meeting. I know what I need a meeting.
Yeah.
Started listening to shares in that online. I'm like, I'm sick and tired, as they say, sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm ashamed of who I am when I know what I could have. And it's not about having cars or money or everything. It's about having peace of mind, waking up in the morning thinking, oh, today's great.
Yeah. And like you said, being able to sit with yourself.
I don't mind
priceless.
that.
It's priceless.
I could start a fight in a phone box on my own before. You know, I didn't need anyone's help or anyone to blame. I was quite happy to take the blame and do it all because I'm a showman. I loved it because I'm the addict. You know, we're the ones that you get things done. But when you apply it, and as my son said, you know what, my son does a lot of public speaking with mental health and his TikTok and stuff like that. It's all about just well-being and mental health, I think, because he's grown up with a mum like me. And
Yeah, nice.
it's just written a book, 33 Ways to Be a Man, for people that haven't had any role models in their life. Little things about shaving, just different bits and pieces.
Oh, brilliant.
It's quite recovery-based as well, and funny enough. And we're doing a book together. I'm doing my 3rd autobiography, but we're doing a book together, and it's going to be available free to hospitals, to institutions, schools and stuff. And it's going to be from my relapse this time, because obviously he was a young adult. It's like 15, 16 when I relapsed. And he'd seen me use from when he was little, then clean for 14 years, then relapse. So it'll be before the relapse, the lead up to it. Say the first chapter will be, half the chapter will be me talking about the lead up to it and what my addict was doing, how it was manifesting itself for me, from my side. And the second half of that chapter will be how he saw it manifest.
Yeah.
And then the bomb go off. And then it'll be about my using, about my recovery, I'll do half a chapter, he does half a chapter. So it's from the addict side and it's from the child side.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Like,
2 different perspectives on the same situation.
We're going to give that book's going to go out free to schools, churches, institutions, anybody that wants it online. We're going to give it on Amazon, whatever, for free. People can just download it, or we can do it as an audio.
Well, we can plug it
just
on
because
here,
something,
100%.
When eventually we get it out and do it, and it's just something that we really, Mum, we really need to do that. I think it's so important because how I saw it, and I said, you know what, Kai, it wasn't until I just finished my steps before Christmas, I'm doing them again now, and I did my step 8, and I was so indignant when people didn't want to hear my amends. What do you mean you don't want to hear my amends? I'm 100 days clean.
I'm ready to make the amends.
Yeah.
What, you're not ready to take it?
And the only person that would take it was if they was in the ground because they couldn't say no to me.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, what do you mean you're not on the same page as me? I'm 100 days clean. Look at my key rings. You know, it doesn't matter that I'd hurt them very deeply or stolen from or
now you might not be ready.
You know, and now that's what I say about my daughter is like, as and when I speak to them, we do talk. We're not estranged, but we're just not close right now. In her time, I have to accept that as part of my using and my mess is. As and when she's ready with questions and answers, she starts to want to build a bridge. She will do it in her time, not in Danniella's time. Not because I'm your mother and you're still, as I said, okay, I used for a few years. Not good enough.
I've got a similar situation. There's someone I'm trying to make amends to, and we was lined up to do it. Didn't happen. Then I called again. Didn't happen. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop pushing. I'm willing.
It's very good of you to do
I'm
that.
willing to make the amends. When they're ready to be heard, when they're ready to hear it, it will happen.
And also, I've had to come to the conclusion of sometimes people don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they hurt too deeply. And I have to live with that as well. So I have to make my amends to my high power and say, do you know what? I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
So and I have to make sure I am 100% present in the way how I conduct myself in future to make sure I don't make the mistakes again, because I can use the same behaviour whether I'm using it or I'm not. I have to make sure I don't have that same bad behaviour. I have to be very mindful.
Indirect amends, isn't it?
Yeah, indirect amends.
Do you know what else is very, very important is, and it's I made amends to myself.
Yeah.
With certain things, and I do still now. I don't know if you do your daily resentment list.
Yeah. Step 10.
Yeah,
I
do it every day, and I do my gratitude in the morning. I do a gratitude of a night as well. Just because that's just me. So I've got my car went to me, fucking it's like W.H. Smith around your house. You've got a journal for everything. And I have. You do, don't you? You've got journals. I used to be on the app thing and I thought, there's not enough space in that for me. So I like to write. I'm a writer, so I like to write things.
Yeah, but there's power in that.
There's so much power in that.
Yeah.
Because that shows me where my mind goes as well for my mental health. And you know, I tell it to Beachy. You say, bring it in to let me have a look at. So mind if I look at something like that, I was reminded that point. Because something I can't remember.
And once you've written it down, you can't hide behind it.
Writing's great, yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people. I'm obviously been an actor with Recall and vocal. Once I've made something vocal, it's alive, it's real, it's out there. I can't hide from that. Which is why in 14 years when I didn't speak, I wasn't vocal, so I was hiding, but I didn't know I was.
God, it must have been painful. 14 years
I didn't know any
clean
different. I was happy.
No program, really.
I was happy.
Right.
I was doing fine. I thought, well, I don't need to. I see my therapist twice a week.
Right.
I think I'm doing all right. I'm running meetings.
So you were doing something.
No, I wasn't unhappy. It was just when my marriage fell apart. The first thing, I didn't know anything. Within half an hour, I knew what it was gear.
You didn't have the tools to get through it.
No, I didn't have that. I didn't have any of that. And I didn't want to go to meetings because I felt ashamed because I used to run meetings and do things. I didn't know it was normal to feel like that.
That keeps people out of rooms.
I didn't know that was normal.
It's shame.
Yeah, but an ego.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was normal to do that until I opened my ears differently this time round. And I hear people run meetings go, do you know what? I'm struggling this week. I'm about to ring my sponsor. People are 10 years clean because it's normality.
Yeah, of course.
And that's okay. You don't have to be a prefect in a meeting and somebody to follow, a pillar of strength. You just have to be human.
And look, so we had a guy come on talking about when someone has got the clean time and they do share that they're not perfect and they've got shit going on for them, that sometimes got more power in it than the person who's like, oh, my life's absolutely perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, sometimes people need to hear the mess.
Of course.
Crush, yeah, we're still human at the end of the day. We're still living our own heads. And I think I'm very mindful of living in my own head and isolating. Isolating reminds me of using. But now when I isolate, I'm isolating because I'm doing something productive. I'm working on my inner child. I'm doing this. I've got meditation because I do that daily. I've been doing that for 3 years now. I love to do. But I also have to be careful not to get too into something.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing my resentment list of a night, that's changed me differently.
What do you do around your meditation?
What do? I do a mindful meditation. I do a conscious.
Like guided?
Yeah, I do guided. I can't really do unguided.
Me neither.
I'll fall asleep, if I'm honest.
I'll just start thinking about work or something.
My mind, I'm like Dory from Finding Nemo. I've got a 2-second memory. Oh, shiny things like, that's me.
That's when I put the head on the pillow at night. Dory.
Yeah.
It's an addict, isn't it? It's an addict's head. It's like, oh, body's knackered, head's going, oh.
Do you remember that from when you were 12 years old? Have that?
Yeah. That's it, and that's how it will come out a different way.
Yeah.
I have to be so mindful about things. Some things you just got to let go.
Yeah.
Because it will pull on. It's like a carousel going on up there, and I can pull a bag down from it any time I like and use off it.
You read, Kristen, that helps you, doesn't it? Go to sleep.
I read, yeah.
I read as well. I like
read
to
at night. I love reading.
I'm a boy. I like to read. I don't like audiobooks. I don't like Kindles. I like a book.
Oh, you know what? I read a Kindle.
I like an old-fashioned book. I'm
you know what? The only reason I don't read a book, like a proper book, is because I have to have the light on. With a Kindle, it's backlit, so I can just fall asleep.
Yeah, that's
and it turns itself off.
Yeah, and you got young kids. I'm just
huge tool for me.
For me, my resentment list, and do you know what? You meant to write 10, don't you? Like 4 columns, still a 10. Sometimes it can go on phrases like that old lady pushed in front of me today in Tesco's, fucking old cow. And I said to her, "Who do you think you're?"
Yeah,
but really, what could I have done differently? She was, shut up and let her go in front of you.
Take a deep breath, pause,
leave
respond rather than react.
Yeah. It's taught me, and now. What is it they say with like manifesting and stuff? Thoughts become things and stuff like that is the more I think and I'm right for the things I'm writing are now becoming my thoughts. So instead of reacting that way, my mind now actually thinks of the way my resentment list goes.
Yeah.
To behave that way instead of behaving the other way.
Yeah, and plus look, that daily inventory just tells you where you are. You read it and you're like, oh fucking hell. Either I've had a great day today, or you know what, I need to work on some things. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's how it works.
And sometimes, like I'll say, like last Sunday, I run my parents. I was like, my mum and my stepdad. I'm like, my brother was going over to my mum's. We have Sunday dinner every other Sunday at my mum's now. My nephew's now, which is great.
Yeah, nice.
And I just said, listen, I can't come out today. Mum said, well, so I'm having a bit of a moment. She went, what about your dad? I said, no, about me. I'm just a little bit off key today. She said, oh, you're not going to use it. You're right, let's go to a meeting. I said, Mum, I just need to do some work. I need to do some step work.
Yeah.
That's progress as well.
Right? And I said, I can't go. She went, do you want me to run you a dinner over? I said, no, you're right.
And that's being honest. Because before you might have said you just went and then
my addict would have taken
internally you're hurting, but you're actually, you're saying to your family, yeah, I'm fine. And that's
I would have
that
been
honesty.
probably like you. By the end of the evening,
Yeah.
I'd have got a bit cranky, like
Yeah,
you
of
said, at the end of that week, because
That's
I'd have felt a bit needed.
And plus, you said you got them people pleasing tendencies. So you're like, oh, you could have said, oh yeah, I'll be there anyway, and then your behaviour's off key, and then you make a situation bad.
Yeah, and then I'll get
Addicts
offended.
make it all about us, whereas you've done a mature, grown up thing, and you stayed home and you done step work.
Just had to I have to put myself my program first.
There you go.
And
You've
if people
got
don't
your
like
tools.
that, they don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of work. I've turned down different things that have come into my life. I turned down an interview last week with a big paper for a hell of a lot of money, and an offer to get my face fixed for me and everything. I just said, listen, this ain't right for me.
Yeah.
And as much as I need to get all this done in my health, that's not right for my recovery. It's been done for. You're giving it to me with the greatest interest. I'm not taking it on the greatest interest.
I love what you said then about you got to put your program first.
I have to.
Someone said that to me when I got clean this time, because
I need to
relapse
put
is part of my
myself
story. I've been coming in and out of the rooms for 5 years before I got clean. And someone said that to me this time. They're like, anything you put before your recovery, you're going to lose. So put your recovery first and everything else will take care of itself. So I love that you said that.
I have to.
It's fundamental. Recovery comes first.
You know, my dad was dying and he saw me going to meetings, he saw me, and I think he just let him go because he saw me and my brother talking again. My brother's a chief inspector. He couldn't see me, hasn't been able to see me for the last 8 years because I'm known by association. If he sees me, he has to call it in. He's like, what she said. I had to get permission to come to my daughter's 21st. You know, he's got a good job. He's a good person. How horrible that he sits there and goes, that's my sister. He went to Hendon training and they showed my face on video of me as a drug addict with a hole in my nose for the drug training part. And everyone sort of looked around and looked like that. And we're going, the person went, what are you looking at? He went, that's his sister. His name's Westbrook. You know, and I'm super proud of my little brother. And today we have a relationship. Sadly, for my father passing, has brought us closer together. But he's actually seen, because he had to see me at the hospital. We had to do things with our dad. And he can see, and his wife can see for themselves. I don't have to, I've made an amends, but in a certain way, without having to make an amends yet, because I think it's still too early. But he's seen the proofs in the pudding without having to go and see me again and get hurt again. Or have a row with his wife because I'm just going to fuck it up again. And
this is it. Action speaks louder than words.
And he's watched me go through the whole of that. And for 10 days after Dad died, about 3 days after he died, we'd done him running around. I didn't see anyone. No one came to my house. No one did anything. My mum and that were ringing. Every I said, yeah, I just need to process what I'm going through. Speak to my brother and that every day. I'm in Brentwood, he's in Brentwood. I did it. When I moved back to this country last year, I haven't got a car. And I haven't got a car for a reason, because I've been missing in action. I've moved myself to a part of Brentford that even Uber comes there. You have to ring the cabs the day before, like pre-booked hours before. Do you know what I mean? I live in the middle of the countryside bit of Brentwood.
Nice.
My nearest shop is a 40-minute walk.
Right.
And I happily do that every day.
Yeah.
Love it. Don't do it with the bulldog because it takes me over 40 minutes with him, little legs. But I've done it for a reason, because my program comes first. I'm serious about my recovery.
Yeah, nice.
If I go out and buy a little car, even if it's £1,000, a little smart car.
Yeah.
Now you're on wheels.
Yeah.
Now I'm mobile. Missing in action for sure.
I like what I'm hearing here, do you, Max?
No, it's great.
You're putting in the boundaries
do you know what?
that
When
you
I
need.
wanted to get to meetings, I know, and another thing I would ask people, I haven't really got the money for it. I'm going to train 30 quid or, cab to station 15 there, 15 back. Spend all right, spending on a pub grub, but don't want to spend it on my health or on my meeting.
Yeah.
But I know I can ring someone and go, if you're passing through, you're going to that meeting, can you pick me up from Pilbara or can you pick me up from Wonga? If I go, yeah, sweet, I'll come out. I think all people won't do that for me. Of course they will. Like I will for people on Instagram or people that message you guys, you're going to help.
Yeah.
Because that's the program.
Well, this is it, right? We'll be of service. That's
You'll be of service having me on here.
The thing that gives me the biggest buzz in my life is being of service to other people.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
When you guys got in touch with me, I don't know which one of you it was.
It was me.
It was Max, yeah.
I said, would you do it? I was like, I was so chuffed to think that somebody would do it. Like, oh, James, I love James. No, don't get me wrong. I love people's podcasts, but, from somebody from recovery to ask me is a very big deal for me.
Yeah, I just knew your story is going to help so many other people out there.
You're coming with the right intention, not about the horror.
I'd like to just quickly mention, before we turn on the mics, you said something about you believe now this is potentially your journey and what you're meant to be doing in your life. Do you know what I mean? Sharing this message of recovery. Yeah.
I really think it is.
I think that's a beautiful thing to say.
I did 14 years, as you know, clean.
Yeah.
But I never had people on social media. I got recognition other ways. It's not about getting recognition. I never really people reach out to me, other than in meetings, which is great.
Yeah.
Via social media, obviously social media is a lot bigger now than what it was. And I have such a great platform and an ability via books, whether they be free books or autobiographies, by speaking in schools, by speaking at meetings, by speaking on podcasts. I can reach so many different people. I have people message me from Dubai, from all over the place. I've got a guy asked me to go to Dubai to do a podcast about recovery because people in Saudi and that don't really know, but there's huge problems with alcohol and drugs.
We've got some listeners in Saudi.
Yeah, and will I come and will I speak or via a Zoom call? I said, yeah, of course. Anything to do with recovery, I'll do for nothing because it's being of service. It's not a job to me. It's like us going to a meeting. It helps me as much as it's helping somebody else. But I just think my job is you can't be given something. You can't keep something if you don't give it away.
Danny, these thank yous and messages we're getting on Instagram, just on this podcast,
Isn't it great?
That is better feeling than any drug I've ever done. Honestly, we read a few out just a minute ago before we came live.
Cry, didn't it?
A couple of there was one, a wife of a guy who's listened to this podcast, and he's 30 days clean now, Chris, and and it's just like it blows me away. It just fills me with so much joy that we're doing this and helping other people. Really, helping other people.
I mean, I know you guys aren't allowed to say about going to meetings and that, but obviously, when you inbox people back, I know you will probably share about fellowships and stuff for people to help, because it is hard to do it on your own. But once you get in a fellowship and you've got a podcast like this to listen to, you ain't on your own. Because you're getting all the information you need. You can get a big book. You can order something, and if you get to a meeting, if you can't afford it, then someone will give you one. It's not hard work, We just want people to get well.
Well, this is it. We're not trying to replace a meeting. We're trying to carry the message. Like you
Exactly
said,
that.
you knew what the solution was. You didn't go to treatment. You went to a meeting. Because that's what the solution is.
I believe in treatment's fine. A lot of people say to me, I can't afford treatment. And the doctor's saying this, that, and the other. I said, screw the doctor.
You don't need treatment.
If you go to treatment, if you're, I understand for like heroin addicts, for alcoholics and stuff, because of rehab,
if you need
detoxing your body. If you need detoxing, then yes, that is only a medical person can do that properly. I know people that have gone through it on people's sofas and all that stuff, and that's people in recovery look after each other like that. It's dangerous, but if you've got no other hope and you need it that much, then between that and your GP, you can do it. The meetings, you don't need $5,000 a week to go in somewhere.
No.
You
need other addicts to tell you how they did it, what the solution is, how they did it, and so you can do the same. And you can grow. I'm not saying you're going to get your family back or you can get this back, but you're going to get yourself back to a point where you actually think, you know what, I'm quite happy being my own friend. I'm not running away from myself today.
And that's the only thing that matters, right? Really.
It's the only thing that matters. It's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Danny, you briefly mentioned like the physical issues you've had due to cocaine.
I can't breathe. I've had to slice my face.
Can you just talk briefly? Because I think our listeners would be so intrigued about what the lead up to that situation was.
Cocaine cocaine convulsions. I stopped breathing, pass out, be able to stop going to my brain.
Because
fitting.
One of the big things, like for me growing up, like you were one of the faces that I saw on the front of the newspapers, like the poster girl for cocaine. I
self-harmed a lot though.
What's that?
I self-harmed. I used to cut myself a lot. I cut my face, cut my nose. It's like anything, isn't it? When the drug's not enough, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? The fame's not enough. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? I'm so isolated and so alone. So I thought, my health has suffered so much. The convulsions I'd have, I'd go 3-4 days with no sleep and like stars in your eyes, and and I'd drive like that. And I'm obviously not with my kids, but when I was little, but I'd talk like that. I was compass mentis. I was wandering around like I was not. Why would I do that? I was delirious.
Yeah, but that's the insanity around it. You're hurting yourself so much, but then...
But you're not even out having a good time. My health suffered, deteriorated, as all of us have had. My eyesight's terrible now because of taking cocaine.
Right.
And smoking, I suppose, as well, smoking cigarettes. But, it's all, and clubbing, and all that stuff. It all has its effects on you.
Yeah.
You can drink water for freaking years. I'm I had water when I clean my teeth.
Yeah.
Just talking, that was it. Or tonic with a gin or something, But it's like, it's not fun. It's not in moderation. If you can't do something in moderation, then it's not for you.
No.
You have a problem.
Yeah.
I've got, I had something, so I took so much cocaine. I was a daily user, and I have got problems in my nose. So like, huge hole in the middle of the cartilage.
Yeah, that won't go back.
I know it won't. So basically,
I don't even have anything
towards the end of my using, right, I was getting really, really worried about my nose. And there's a guy I know in the rooms, and he's got something similar where he's got like,
a lot of people
got a big
saw
hole.
me in it and worried.
And I'll be completely honest, I was thinking,
that's going to happen to you.
I would think about them photos that I saw of you on the front page. And I was like, if you keep going.
You know, I worked at EastEnders for 9 months like that, and they used to shoot me differently. They were so good to me.
Is that right?
Really?
Only because I poked my tongue out and the photographer was a midget. He bought a plane off the back of them pictures. That's how much he sold them for.
Really?
Oh, God, yeah.
But this is what I wanted
Saved
to
my
know.
life.
When them photos come out on the front page,
I was
what
already
did
in
that
the
feel
Priory.
like?
I didn't give a shit.
Really?
I was in the Priory. I was 2 weeks into my recovery. They couldn't give a shit. All I wanted to do was go out and use it. Sod it. I don't know. Everyone knows now. I could just crack on.
Really?
That's where I was at. I still was at the buckets.
Yeah.
And I think because I was so ashamed as well. But I wouldn't admit to the ego again. I wouldn't admit to myself I was ashamed. It's such a delusional way of life. It's just, it's a thief.
Can agree
It's
with
a
that.
thief. It's a thief of your mind, your body, your spirit, your health, relationships. It robs you of who you're meant to be. And I think God, if anybody can get in them rooms or get online to a meeting, or even if you do a Zoom one, there's so many of them. I post them all the time on my Insta for people. I know we're not meant to promote the program, but God, how many people are ever going to get well if we don't promote
Yeah, you
things?
can carry the message.
And you know, you don't even have to put your camera on in Zoom, or you don't have to speak on it. You just join the room and listen. You know, if you can just listen to somebody else and not your own head for a minute, you've got half a chance, and you can get there. Slowly you build your confidence. And you know what? You haven't got to tell people I've got an addiction, I've got a problem, you know, because of your wife or your children. I'm not saying you're a liar. Just get it okay with your own head first. And then slowly you can talk about it. And they'll be proud of you for coming out and saying that you've done it and that you had a bit of a problem. Because they all know anyway.
Of course. And look, that's exactly what I was thinking.
You've got to get it right with yourself first.
What you just said then about some people are ashamed and they don't want to tell anyone. After a little while, I'm proud of the fact that I'm an addict and that I'm in recovery.
Same.
And I share it. The reason I share it is because I might be the only connection anyone has to someone who's got clean, and I know what the solution is. So
and you're a parent,
I make it known.
You're a father. It's your job to do that.
Exactly.
As
I
a man,
make it known so that people can reach out to me.
People.
Yeah. And look, I was talking about this the other day. This stuff runs in families. I don't know. One of my boys might be an addict.
God forbid.
God forbid. But what will be. And I am in a position to, first of all, spot the signs and to point them in the right direction.
Yeah, like my Kai's a bit autistic, a bit ADHD and different things, but he's fanatical about doing things the right way. That's why he looks after all my everything I do. Because I know I can count on him to do everything and get it done. He's meticulous. And that's an addiction in a different kind of sense. So as I said earlier, we've all got it in a different way. It's just, as Kai said when he does all this self-help talking and people say, oh, your mum's a junkie. Don't you say, do you know what? My mum was a junkie. And yeah, I've had a great life and I've had a bad life at times. Same with anyone else out there.
Yeah.
Anybody, what you have going in your life is relevant to you. Except what I will say is this. When my mum's clean and she's well, she's one of the most powerful people you'll ever meet. Because see that addiction side, and when she reverses that addiction and she uses it for good, she's more powerful than the straightest person I've ever met.
Love that.
And I was like, wow, kind of. So you said, Mum, addiction's a killer and it's horrible, but it's a lifesaver as well if you can get hold of it.
Yeah, nice.
If you can keep it in the bottle and you can use everything you had for that with your addict and turn it around, you're more powerful than the straightest person out there running the country.
So how's this 5 months been since, compared to your 14 months that you had before? Do you feel like
I've had
being
dad die, I've had everything. I've had to grow up and I've had to...
Because you seem...
This is my time. This is my time.
I can spot someone getting well. I've been in recovery a while now, and I can really tell, Danny, that you are...
I'm not scared.
No, you're being
very
honest.
I'm enjoying my life, and when I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad day. I'm not frightened to say it. I don't mind if people say to me, do you think you're going to use, like my mum did the other day, I would have taken offence to. I say, no, Mum, it's not like that. I'll explain what it is. And that's cool.
It's that honesty, innit?
It's that. It's just it's being honest with myself and being all right with it. And it's like, it's okay to feel like this. And it's only because I've sat in rooms and looked at people that are 10, 15 years clean, that are running meetings, go, I'm having a shit day today and I could have a drink.
That's where it's at.
But I'm not going to. And I was like, wow.
That's where it's at.
That's where I'm going wrong.
Honesty.
It's very honest to sit and do a podcast. People go, it's very brave of you to say, it is, yeah. But it's what's expected of me for a very long time to do, because I've been taught up. Can't stand on your rules, can't stand on your feet. If you do something, put your hands up. As we all have. Old working class families, you know. But I'm also an actor.
Yeah.
And we also do PR, we spin things and we do this and this, and we, promote things and we do things. I look at it and I think, this is my life we're talking about. And a lot of times I have done it, and I know when to cry, when to smile, when to say this, when to say that, when I'm on the small end and loose women and blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's what I do. When I go home at night, I just have to sit with myself.
Well, the mask comes off.
And today I can sit with myself.
Yeah.
And that's really a rewarding thing. And listen, I'm only 7 months. I'm very, very early days.
Yeah, but 7 months is no joke.
7 months of quality recovery, though, is different
7
to 14.
minutes is better than, 14 years of what I was sitting there
exactly.
thinking I was doing the right thing and I wasn't, because the pain that hits me still now, knowing I've thrown 14 years away, is devastating. Yeah, but this time round, I'm doing it right.
We say there's a difference between being clean and being in recovery. Do you know what I mean?
But I'm glad I had that 14 years, because I know how life can be.
Yeah.
And it can be even better if I've got a program.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. I try not to regret anything, because everything that's ever happened has led me to the position I'm in today. And I'm in a position to be able to help people.
Oh, listen, I think this podcast is just phenomenal, and I'll share it with my mates out in the States and this, that, to get people listening, and hopefully get some of them on as well.
Brilliant.
Over on a Zoom stuff, and I've got some great friends of mine, actors and stuff that are in recovery.
Nice. Well, any help will be greatly appreciated.
There's lots of people, walks of life. I've got a friend of my pastor in America, born again Christian aside, one of the biggest skateboarders, Tony Hawks and all that. They run my church.
Oh, really?
They're all massive junkies.
Yeah, I know. They love it.
Went to God. I mean, they would do a podcast for you tomorrow. It ain't
I was
about
into that scene
God.
for a little while.
I'm a Christian, but it ain't about preaching God. It's the message of getting well. That's their higher power. For me, I like the universe. I believe in God, but I like the universe, different things. But my higher power is my program.
Love it.
That's my higher power. That's how it rings for me this time.
Yeah.
So that's it for me right now. That's where I'm at the minute. In 2 years' time, it might be something different. It's my higher power.
No, I sum it up when I go to a meeting, that feeling when you come out of a meeting, you feel, I feel different. You can go in, have a bad day, stressful day, kids, whatever it is, work. Go into a meeting, you come out, I feel, do you mean?
It's like going on Britain's Got Talent, getting involved in buzzer off Simon, isn't it? Like bang, and you're like, Simon Cowell's going to be on buzzer off, fucking great. I'm going to treat myself and have McDonald's. Yeah, it's like, it just makes you feel like you're not alone.
Exactly.
Because the addict will come on you every which way it can.
Yeah.
It's cunning, baffling, as we know.
Yeah.
This disease.
Yeah.
And it's not just words, and it's not just bumping, it's not just slogans. They're said for a reason, because when you really break it down and you go through them steps, and you're doing it 4, 5, 6 times round in different stages of your recovery and it's different stages of your mindset, you can put things to put that to certain things and think, wow, yeah.
But us three talking tonight, I've got a sense of I'm not alone in this world. I'm not.
It's great.
Exactly.
So looking forward to this today.
That's what it's all about.
The therapeutic value of one addict helping another.
That's it, man.
That's a meeting.
Yeah.
Are we getting on for time, Chrissy?
We're there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Of course you can.
So I just wanted to quickly say, as I was saying about using places as a platform, for me, I really appreciate you having me here. Thank you so much. I think what you're doing is groundbreaking. And it's going to help a lot of people that can't get to meetings or too embarrassed to get to meetings and stuff. And I just say to people, listen, if you're listening to this podcast, whether you've got an addiction problem or you think you've got a problem, or if something's making your life unhappy, then you've got a problem. It's okay. Just keep coming back to this podcast. Just keep coming back, because it will get you there. And eventually you'll get in the rooms and you'll get what you need. Just keep coming back. Get in touch. The help's there. You're doing the right thing now just by listening. So thank you. And thank you guys for having me.
Amen.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for coming on. Max, thanks again. And Danniella, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Amazing stuff.
All right, really. Good luck with your journey. And I'm looking forward to reading this book.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to coming to meetings.
Fantastic. Where can they find us on Instagram, Max?
We are at Addicted to Recovery Podcast, and we're on Spotify, Apple Music.
Brilliant. Goodbye, guys.